And what is up, everyone? I am Joe DeHoyos. I'm host of Beyond the Woodline. Real quick before we get started, for those of you guys who don't know, I am the executive director of the JRG, which stands for the Jevning Research Group. It's headed and founded by Mr. William Jevning. I'm sorry, man. I got allergies. I can barely talk sometimes. So anyway, um, yeah, if you guys are interested in joining the group, what we do is we research and look for this creature that we all know as Bigfoot. Um, we have teams in New York State, Michigan, Ohio, Oklahoma, Florida, Maine, Louisiana, here in Texas, where I'm at, of course, um, New Mexico, California, a few other states I'm sure I'm missing. If you're interested in doing that and joining the team, let us know. We can set you up. If there's not a team in your state, you can sure as hell create one. If there's a team in your state, you can still create one, right? It's all up to you. And if you would just want to join somebody and there's not a team in your state, we have friends all over the place. We network with a bunch of other teams, so we know a bunch of people. And if you want to join up with somebody, let us know, and we'll find somebody for you. But we do vet you, and we vet anyone we set you up with because we want everyone to be safe, right? And we ask you to do the same thing. Um, always research the researcher is what I say. And also, for you guys who don't know, I have recently joined a group called Nighthawk Radio, and you can find the show on Nighthawk Radio. There's a bunch of other shows on there as well. It's an internet uh, radio show, basically. So you guys can go check them out, and you can catch the shows there too. And at some point in time, I don't know when, I'm thinking maybe at the end of this month. So starting in September, I'm going to start doing just pre-recorded shows because here lately it's been really hard to kind of coordinate with my guests. I've had cancellations and stuff like that. Then uh, even on me on my end, I had to cancel a couple of times just because of the weather. Live shows are tough to do, and they're sometimes they can just be a lot to juggle behind the scenes, and uh, so I'm probably gonna go the pre-recorded route, um, and see how that goes too. And it seems sometimes the shows that I have done recorded, um, I've only done a few, but they've done really really well. So I don't know, that's just the algorithm or what, but even though I do very well without it, but they seem to be doing better. So I think September I'm gonna give it a a try and see what happens. I'll try for a couple of months and we'll go from there. So for you guys who listen to the show regularly, like I said, I'll probably be doing pre-recordings, and I don't know if we'll be doing any video. I haven't made that decision yet. Excuse me. And also, I'm working on a T-shirt brand. I was showing my guest here tonight before we came on, so I'm really excited about that. I'm getting my LLC for everything, so I'm really excited for all that. So anyway, I know you guys don't tune in to hear me ramble off all night like you are, Barbara. You're tuning in to hear my guest tonight. And my guest tonight is Mr. Russell Reynolds. He's been on the show before. Welcome back, Russell.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So how long has it been since you were on? Do you remember? Because I was trying to look and I couldn't find it.
I think it's been over a year now.
Yeah, it's been a little while, and I was trying to go back, and I was like, I don't want to keep asking the guy the same questions that I asked him last time. But I mean, hell, if it happens, it happens. It's uh, just the way it is. Uh, yeah, no, I'm sorry, Barbara. Yeah, I don't know if I told Barbara hi, but hi, Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
She's one of my loyal listeners. But yeah, if you don't mind, Russell, tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you started into this crazy field that we find ourselves in.
All right. My name's Russell Reynolds. I'm the founder of Beyond Life Paranormal Research, Missouri, which started out. My journey started at the young age of 6 years old when I had my first paranormal experience in a house that we lived in. Um, we moved into this house not knowing my parents were renting it with option to buy, and strange things would happen at night in this house. Water would turn on its own, toilets would flush at night by themselves, lights would turn on and off, flicker, things would be moved around the house, and, there was my mom's knickknacks on the shelves would get moved. My dad wake up in the middle of the night, and the thermostat be turned down. He'd wake up freezing, thinking us kids did it, but I was only 6 years old. My sister was only 4, so we were too small to even reach thermostat. The dog would sit there at night and growl and scratch at a wall and carry on. So one morning we woke up and the car was running. No keys in the ignition, nothing. And this was well before auto start was even invented. So that'll kind of show you how old I am now. But uh so one night I was laying in bed, sound asleep, got woken up by a noise, and this was about 3 o'clock in the morning. And I peek up at my doorway, and here's a full bodied apparition of a Civil War soldier standing in my doorway looking at me. And I was one of those kids that put the blanket over my head. It's not real. It's going to go away. And then I got the courage again to peek out, and it was gone. But my dad would experience stuff. My mom folded my laundry one day and set it all on my bed. My dad walks by my bedroom door, and my laundry scattered all over the floor. Now us kids we weren't there. We were in school, and so that kind of started dawning on him. And then he was trying to figure out why the attic had been sealed up, and he was gonna open the attic up and open the wall, this other wall, to make this room bigger, but he didn't do it because of us renting it with option to buy. And finally, it got too much on my mom. I can remember we were at my grandmother's house for dinner, and my dad come home from work, calls my grandma's house, and says, "Hey, the upstairs bathroom's flooded. Something had turned the water on to the tub, and the tub was just overflowing onto the floor." Now, nobody was even home at that time to even do that. And so we stayed probably for about another month, and we ended up moving out. And so other people would move into this house, but they wouldn't stay for very long. They'd move back out. Finally, I hit about teenager years, and a group from New York City had bought this house and they started remodeling it. Well, they opened that wall up and they opened the attic up and they found Civil War uniforms, money, bayonets, mats, and hospital equipment. So we started doing some research and it ended up being a Civil War hospital and base back then. And everything was original in this house. They had the skeleton key locks in it for the doors and stuff like that. So then as I got older, I started staying at my neighbor's house where we moved to, and because my dad used to go deer hunting there, and you'd see a little boy bouncing a ball against the wall at night. And come to find out, back in the 1800s, the boy got sick and died, and the father couldn't handle it anymore. He ended up taking his own life in the barn, and so they haunt the place. My brother's seen his grandmother peeking down. They had a grate in the ceiling downstairs for the upstairs to let heat up there, and my brother looked up and he seen a face looking down at him. That was his grandmother's. So that
Yeah, that even if it's your grandmother, I think I'd be a little bit freaked out. Yeah, yeah.
that kind of sparked my interest in getting started. I started investigating at the age of 13, and about 2006, I met Rob Dermarest from Ghost Hunters International. Got talking to him. I was a DJ back then also, and he's like, "Hey, I know you want to get started in the paranormal field. I'll make you a deal. You make me a mixtape for me to go over on overseas to listen to on the plane, and I'll help you get started in the field." So I was like, "All right, deal." So I made him one, and he got me in contact with Florida Ghost Team, which he was also a part of. He was one of the co-directors, And while he was filming, I was talking to their director, Sean, and both of them helped me get started. And so I started forming Beyond Life Paranormal Research in 2006. And a buddy of mine, even before that group got formed, we would go out and go to the cemeteries. There was a abandoned house we would go check out. We wouldn't go inside because it was private, and we were there, and it was winter, so hanging outside his van, and I'm snapping pictures of the house. Pitch black. We have the headlights off. We both see this black figure come out the door and then just disappear. I'm still hanging out the window taking pictures. My friend's got his window down on the other side, and he hears footsteps coming walking up to his van. Well, he slams it in the drive as I'm hanging out the window, and I almost dropped his camera. And I was
That's
like,
pretty good.
"What are you doing?" He's like, "I heard footsteps." I said, "Well, we got the new nickname for you. Your new name is Rev Run."
Yeah, there you go. That's pretty good.
So we would go to this old cemetery, and I'd go out in the cemetery by myself, and he'd stay by his van, and we do our little investigations. And then finally, I got into the residential stuff, and the group started evolving. I studied a lot of Ed and Lorraine's Warren stuff because I'm also related to the Warrens, and following their demonology stuff and learning about the demonic and what they can do, names. And I used to work on a golf course, so I got laid off in the winter, so I had a lot of time on my hands. So that's I would stay up late just researching and anything I could learn about the paranormal field and get going. Then 2012, I moved to Missouri and I started another branch of the group out here, and the other one ran till about 2016. Oh, hi, Jeanette. And my friend that was running it back there, she ended up with some medical issues. So I was like, all right, we'll just shut that one down. This one's doing good. So I'll just keep managing. But I was running both groups at the time. And then this one's been running ever since 2012. And we're probably over 160 cases of residential that we do.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you about that residential, and if you can't talk about some of this stuff, because I know you do have privacy,
Yeah,
you
there's
know,
some I can touch on, but a lot of
yeah,
names.
and so if you don't have to go into if you can't go into detail, that's fine. But have you ever been to a residential place that scared you?
Uh, I wouldn't say scare, but it kinda unnerved me a little bit. There was our very first demonic case that we did was the one that really got to me. We got called in by this family. There was a confirmed death in the house, which was a former owner. He had passed away there. Previous owners were playing with a Ouija board in the house, and our client had some past history trauma when they were younger, and it got to the point that she was sleepwalking. She'd sleepwalk and wake up in the yard and don't know how she got there. She was getting bruises. There was one instance she sleptwalked, got into her car, drove all the way to Walmart, bought a box of cereal, paid for it, jumped back in her car, went back home, and woke up in the front yard in a rainstorm. And she got to the point when we did the interview process and went there, I have forms that my clients fill out, questionnaires, and it was like something was controlling her handwriting. She did not want nothing to do with her family. Her husband, one of the nicest guys in the world, EMT, firefighter, she despised him. She wanted to hurt him for no apparent reason. And so we walked around the house. She showed us all the hot spots. Basement was one of the biggest ones. You go down to the basement, and you could see your breath down there even in the dark. That's how cold it was down there. And so that weekend, we decided get the team together. We're going to do an investigation. I started walking around with the team when we got there, showing them what was going on. And she followed us downstairs, and I opened the closet, which is one of the spots that she did not like. She was afraid of, and open it up, and here's a noose hanging inside the closet with all different sizes.
Dude, that is crazy.
And it was from the previous owner. We don't know if they were trying to commit suicide or what happened. As soon as I opened that closet, it was just like that, a switch flipped. She ran upstairs crying. Her daughter goes, "I love you, mom." She goes like this and runs out the door. So we go after her, and my one member was holding her hands. We were just trying to calm her down. Next thing you know, her eyes roll in the back of her head. And she goes, "It's mine. I don't want it to leave." And then an upside down cross gets scratched in the side of her neck. And we're staring right at her, so we know it's not self inflicted. And my member's holding her hands. So I ended up making a phone call to my demonologist mentor, Sister Farrah Rose, about it. And she's like, she's under oppression. She's not possessed. You guys are strong enough. You can handle it. And we did. I had them leave for the night so I could see if it was the actual property or it was her. And it ended up being the property itself. It was stuck in the house, but it wasn't fully latched onto her that she couldn't leave. And it took about 6 months to get that case under wraps to get it back to normal. And now she's good. She goes to church. We're like family. She invites us over for dinner. We go over for Thanksgiving, stuff like that. And we're now part of her family.
Dude, that's really cool. That you're able to do that. But serious question. After something like that, how do you keep going? How do you say, "Oh, I want to keep on
It's
going in this field"? You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's more because for me, it's to see the sense on a person's face, to see their smile, to see they got their house back, their family's back together, their life's not in shambles. They can live freely again. They're not being held down by something like that. That's what does it for me. That makes me want to keep doing it more and more. That's why I have the passion for it, for what I do. Is my passion is to help people. So is my dad and the rest of my team. We're in it to help people. That's why we don't charge to do investigations. We don't charge to do cleansings. And our clients are like, we treat them like they're our own family. They're important to us. If there's something we can't do, we got other connections that can help them. If we need exorcism done, we've got connections in that with my mentor, Sister Farrah, that I studied demonology under. And so she works for the diocese office right here in Missouri. So I just make one phone call and clergy's right out there and they take it from there. But
Yeah, that's really good that you have that. You know, that as a backup plan. To help you out. A lot of people don't have that. And then a
yeah,
lot of people don't. They don't know where to turn when they have something serious like that.
yeah, exactly. And I
Mhm.
mean, residential cases are a lot harder. There's a lot of different energies, whether it's psychological, you have to decipher which is psychological or which is really happening, especially when you're dealing with people with schizophrenia disorder or alcohol trauma, drug trauma. I mean, we've dealt with quite a bit of alcohol and trauma. And I mean, demonic stuff is very rare. Doesn't happen all the time, but it is there.
Yeah,
And
I think the word demonic gets thrown around way too much,
it
but
does.
but
It does
it's
for you.
there. It's a real thing, and it happens probably a lot more than what people think.
Oh yeah,
But
it does.
but I did want to ask you this too, and you kind of answered it, but has there ever been a time when you kind of questioned, like, am I really doing this, like for the right reasons, and is it worth it? You know?
Yeah, sometimes I do, but I don't anymore because I know this is my path. This is what I was meant to do. I mean, it's in my bloodline to deal with stuff like that. That's why I got into it, into the dealing with the darker stuff, just like my cousins did. And so it was pretty much my calling that I needed to do, my dad's calling as well, to get into doing that and helping people with that issue. Because there's not many teams that will go out there and handle something dark like that. Many teams back out. We worked on another case that had something dark, and they had a team in there. They didn't even last 10 minutes. They just up and left and say nothing to the client. Client tried to call them, no answer.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of cases like that too. I had I won't say I had a case, but there was an incident. It was in Killeen, Texas, um, and the guy was under the impression that the dogmen he was seeing weren't like true dogmen. They were like of the something demonic,
Oh,
and
kind of like
and
the
eh,
hellhounds. Yeah.
yeah, and so the team that went out there was like three or four guys. There was like one girl, three or four guys, or at least three guys, and they all like hit the ground because they got like pain, like physical pain, like in their gut and in
Mm.
their head from going out to this area. But Barbara's bringing something up, and I wanted to ask you something very similar to that. I kind of wanted to run down this little list that I had. She's asking, I'm wondering if black eyed kids are demonic. What do you think about black eyed kids? Have you had any kind of experiences or heard any personal
I've
stories?
actually never experienced the black-eyed kid yet, but I know if you believe like what my cousin Ed Warren would say, that God does not let a child inhabit a lot of it's demonic stuff, even like your dolls and stuff where they disguise themselves as a child. God does not let a child inhabit a doll. Or and in other religions they believe that a child does not inhabit the earth, which I mean I've encountered children spirits before that weren't demonic. They were regular kids that were trapped here. But black-eyed kids, I'm not for sure on those if they are demonic. I'm not gonna call them demonic. 'Cause I've never run across them in my 31 years doing this. I haven't ran across them yet in any residential cases or anything like that.
What about the Hat Man? Have you ever had any kind of encounters with the Hat Man, or known people that have had encounters? That was one
Oh,
of my.
yeah, I've had several friends that have had encounters with Hat Man. He's another one that's kind of like a mystery that it's hard to figure if he's just a regular black shadow figure or why he comes about and just stands there and looks at you.
So I had an experience with Hat Man years ago. I'm 53 now. When I was like right around 20, 21 years old, I had an experience with him, and I saw him. And Barbara says, "Thank you, I guess, for that
Oh, you're welcome,
explanation."
Barbara.
Yeah, yeah. I had an experience with him in my bedroom, and so years later, my niece got married, and her husband they stayed with my mom's house, right?
Mhm.
This is where I had my experience. So in my old bedroom was now their room, and he saw the Hat Man in that same room. Years later, my sister's little boy, he was maybe 4 or 5 years old at the time. He saw the same guy in that room, and so I just always wonder. And so, like every time I've gone back to my mom's house, which I go several times, right? Um, yeah, there's my mom. Um, yeah, my mom probably remembers those stories. Yeah, we've all. I still to this day kind of get the heebie-jeebies when I go into my old room.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the Headman?
I My thoughts on the Hat Man, I think he's just a regular spirit because if he was something darker or something evil, he'd be trying to hurt you, and all he does is just stand there and stare. I don't think I'm wondering if he's kind of like an implanted energy of somebody that wore a hat like that.
Okay, so you say he just stands there, that he just that stands there and stare. That's not true because we had a physical encounter, right?
That's the first one I've heard that had a physical encounter with him.
And um so I thought I was crazy, and then I started hearing so like a friend of mine, her name is Shannon. She has her own show. Her name is Shannon LeGros. It's called Into the Fray.
Okay,
She's
yeah,
great. Okay,
I've
so you know Shannon, right?
yep.
She had a guy on the show years ago, man, probably 5, 6 years ago, and he talked about a physical encounter also.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, and like I grabbed the dude by the throat, and I never ever told anybody the full story. I tell people all the time that I saw him, right? But there's only been like maybe one or two people. I'm not gonna tell the whole thing right here, but I grabbed the guy by the throat. I was laying on my back. Um, but yeah, so I started investigating more, and there's a lot of people that actually had physical encounters with the guy. Touched him, he touched them. Um, yeah, pretty scary stuff.
Did they leave any marks on him or anything like that when he
I don't know if they left any marks on him, but the physical encounter that me and him had, he didn't leave a mark, but I felt it. There was pain there. Um, it's a crazy fucking story, but okay, I'll tell you. No one's ever heard it. I don't even think my mom's has heard the full story. But dude had a knife, like this big knife, and he brought
oh,
it down, like right above my heart, and I grabbed his arm. Um, I had one hand on his throat, one hand on his arm, trying to stop him from stabbing me in the chest,
mm,
basically. And he had this demeanor, like, and I knew it right away that if he wanted to stab me, he could have stabbed me. I wasn't stopping him. And I grabbed him by his throat. I squeezed it real hard and I twisted. He spun around at this time. So I was young and crazy. I was crazy. So
right.
I was crazy. So when he spun around, I reached under my bed, and I had a shotgun, a pistol grip shotgun, and I grabbed it. And when I pulled it up, he was gone. So yeah, yeah. But I've heard him using a knife in this same way with other people.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like I
He
said,
sound
this is like the first time I've like told the whole story.
he sounds like he's a malicious more like a more malicious spirit than, like, your demonic stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know about him. I just don't know because so like another story that I have, and the reason why I started doing research was because I thought at that time I was the only person that ever saw this guy. I thought like for a while I thought I was crazy, and um, Jeanette says the shadow people can't talk. He didn't talk to me, but he scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, I know shadow people. We've captured
And
these
so
people.
I had a friend of mine at work, and we're still friends to this day. And this was probably 30 years ago or close to it, probably 27. They moved into a house. They were moving into this house, and he said that as they were moving into this house, their neighbor came across the street and was like, "Hey, you got Jack's house, right?" He's like, "Jack." He goes, "Yeah, Jack lived here. He was an older guy. He had cancer, and he was terminal. He got tired of hurting all the time, so he ended it in the kitchen, right?" Um, so, as a joke, my friend Richard started telling his wife, he was flicking the lights on and off. Jack's gonna get you. Jack's gonna get you, right? After that, the house turned into a madhouse. They saw the Hat Man. Um, their daughter was attacked physically, and they actually saw the Hat Man I think 3 times in that house. And his father-in-law saw him standing outside the house checking it out. Like he was standing like in the street
Mhm.
looking at the house, and he was walking his dog. And he said the dog went crazy when he saw him. His dog was a really good dog, didn't act crazy at all ever. And he walked around the next street, and he came back, made like a little loop around, and he wanted to see who this guy was looking at Richard's house. And he started walking down towards the end of the street, and he made a right. His father-in-law saw the dog, and I mean, his father-in-law saw him turn the corner,
Mhm.
and when they walked down the street with the dog, they looked down to see where the guy went, and he was gone. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So I don't know about the hat man. I don't know what his deal is or what his purpose is, but I think that you can invoke the guy, you know,
Mhm.
and I, I I don't know if he's like an evil entity, if he's just there to mess with you, if he's there to kind of set you straight. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, what Hatman I'm unsure about too as well because I've never encountered him and really dove deep into him because none of our cases ever involved Hatman or anything like that we've done. I know scientists are still trying to figure out the purpose of Hatman as well too.
Yeah, yeah, it's the fedora hat. Yeah,
Yep.
and
Go ahead.
exactly. Yeah, that's what she says. Yeah, and that's it. So the one I saw, his hat was like really, really pointed. I mean, it came down to like a point to where it covered his eyes. All I saw was like from the like right under his nose on down, and his skin was almost like a rubber foam kind of material. Yeah,
Was he
but
warm or cold to touch or
I don't really remember that. But he seemed like a much older guy because I could see the wrinkles like on his chin and like around his lips, like an older person
Yep.
has. Yeah, that's what he had, and um, it was really like chalky, like I don't know, like if you got chalk and just rubbed it on your face,
Okay.
that's what it looked like, But it was like really like rubbery when I grabbed him by his throat, and when I grabbed him, I mean I grabbed for his like esophagus,
Mhm.
that's what I was grabbing for. But yeah. Another thing I wanted to ask you too, I didn't want to make the show all about me, but cryptids and paranormal, is there a connection, you think?
I do. I believe there is a connection. I mean, just even by talking to our local cryptid researcher Carter, he was telling me he actually caught one on thermal upright as a humanoid and then shapeshift to an orb and just disappeared. So, yeah, I believe there is a connection between cryptids and paranormal.
Hmm, okay, very interesting. But Barbara says some say shadow people are there to absorb negativity. I'm wondering if shadow person and Hatman is the same thing. Yeah,
That's a good
yeah, yeah.
theory.
You know what? And I never thought about it that way. It's like, um, yeah, a lot of these instances that I hear about the Hatman, especially, I don't know what he's there for because he doesn't really seem necessarily, air quotes evil, right?
Right.
But not maybe like super friendly, but maybe he doesn't care if he comes off as mean or good or not. He's there to absorb the negativity and do his job and get the hell on out.
And then maybe he's able to detect a negative person that may be violent or something like that, and that's why he shows up as well too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because like I said, at that time in my life, I was freaking crazy.
Yeah, when you because I mean, when you're in the dark and you're into that negative, that's what you're gonna feed is your the negative beings and stuff like that. When you're feeding negative energy and you got past trauma or you've got alcohol problems or anything like that, that's all temptations for the darker stuff to feed it. So that's why they come forward. And your darker stuff can lay in dormant for years before it picks its time to show up because they were never living. They never once walked this earth. They're just fallen angels, so they lay in dormant and they know everything about you.
And it's funny that you kind of say that too, because I've heard, and I want to get your opinion on this on psychics, right? Like I believe people have that ability. Do I believe everybody who says they have it? No, but I believe that that is an ability that some people have. Um, and people talk about psychics are connecting with not just the dead but with evil spirits. Have you ever thought about that, and what do you think about that?
Uh, I mean, yeah. I mean, like my dad and I both have abilities because we both had near death experiences. we both died and came back. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, there is some fake psychics out there. I've worked with quite a few. There's a lot of them I test and I question on it because there was one group I was working with, and we went to this place on Halloween, and we ended up giving her the nickname of Spirit Fingers because she says, "Oh, I'm picking up this energy here, and none of the equipment's reacting to it." I always run equipment when I'm around a psychic because, and I'll test them and put them to the test. And a lot of times, there's some I admit they actually were legit and picked up on what we were experiencing as well. And I mean, like my dad, his abilities, he goes in, does our client interviews, and he always can tell when somebody's lying to us. He ends up getting it out of them when they try to hide something from us. Or even when he does work on people and cleansings on people and stuff, he can feel that energy when it's with them and then when it's gone. Like we were at Missouri State, and there was a girl that had POTS disease, and she was going into shock. She got overcame by the energy in the prison itself, and then my family had some of the Warren's Occult Museum out there, so they brought her to the lobby, and he was sitting there in the lobby, and they were going to call the ambulance. And he says, "Leave her with me. Let me work with her." He put some holy water on his hands, held her hands, did some cleansing prayers with her, put his cleansing medallion around her. A big old white light just went around him, and a whole bunch of people would just witness this. And this girl was fine for the rest of the night. She was able to finish the whole event without having to leave or take a ride in an ambulance.
Shoot, that's really cool, man. I like that. Um, what about you personally? What's like the craziest thing you've ever like experienced?
For me, mine would be the craziest would be at this old farmhouse here in Lawson, Missouri. We were up there setting cameras up, and I started seeing this figure standing up in the window. Nobody else seen it. So we got done setting the cameras up. I'm standing there watching it. It's up on the third floor. Owner comes over to me and he goes, "You see something up there?" I said, "Yeah, there's a woman standing there in white looking out the window." And I said, "She's not saying anything. She's just wondering what we're doing." And hey, Shay. So I said, "Take a picture." So he pulls out his phone. He snaps a picture. Here's the woman in white standing in the window in his picture. And then the other crazy experience was at Waverly Hills Sanatorium. We were on the fourth floor in the surgery room, and we decided to do a little role playing. And so I laid on the surgery table and had somebody wheel me under the light, and we were acting like I was sick. I was coughing, and the one person with us was yelling, "We need a doctor. He's not going to make it." So we had a motion light sitting in the doorway. It kicks on, and I hear a noise, so I go to sit up. I couldn't move. I was felt like somebody was holding me right to the table, like I was being restrained by my legs, my arms, my hands. And then we hear two loud female screams right outside the door. So I said to them, "Text that other team, find out where they're at." They were up on the fifth floor, out on the roof, on the opposite end of the building, doing a Estes method. So it wasn't they were nowhere around near us. And then another one, this one was just recently. This was about a month ago. We were at Missouri State with our friends that Get Haunted. There was a book signing. The guy spent 8 weeks in there writing a book, and we were down in the dungeon cells down there. And the dungeon cells housed JB, the firebug, for like 18 years. He went blind down there, and he was a convicted arsonist for. And they put him down there because he set the prison on fire, killing a bunch of inmates and some guards. So we were down there in the dungeon, and we're sitting on the floor. We decided. Rob says, "Let's go lights out and experience some shadow play down there." Well, I'm right here. Rob's sitting over here on the floor. Brian is in the corner. And so Brian's daughter is there with us, and she's actually standing next to her dad. Well, she feels something grab her leg. And I could see it. I could see the shadow right in between both of us. I was like, there's a shadow figure standing right in between both of us. She started getting scared. I was like, stay calm. You're all right. And then all of a sudden, this big old white light, it was probably about that big around, appears behind Brian and his daughter, lights up the whole cell block. I could see everybody in our group that was with us by face. And we thought Brian had lit his flashlight or something or their phone. But when it lit up, you could see Brian was holding on to his daughter and his daughter was holding on to him. And it was one of the craziest experiences I've ever experienced being down there in that dungeon, and I've been there 3 times and never experienced that. And we're all still talking about that.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. That sounds pretty wild. Yeah, I don't know. So like Barbara says, anything named dungeon, I'm going in. I don't know about that. I might stay away from that.
Well, they got that in your face cell down there. When you're in that cell and you go in there by yourself, you got something that's right in your face.
So what's some of the latest experiences you've had or investigations that you've had?
It would be the Missouri State Penitentiary would get haunted, and that was our latest one. We just did a residential case not too long ago, and we're getting ready to go out and do another one. And we're pretty booked up for the year with some residential stuff, and so we've got same place we're going to investigate. They got a house down the road they want us to come check out, so we're doing both places all in the same night, which is going to be wild. Having I've got 16 DVR cameras, so I can set up in 2 locations at once. So,
That's pretty cool, man. So how do you prepare like mentally and even spiritually when you do an investigation?
for us, we do a lot of prayers, especially if we're going to deal with something dark. We bless the car, the equipment with holy water and stuff like that, and then a lot of meditation and focusing, make sure we're grounded, and we wear a lot of medals and stuff like that. Saint Benedict's blessed medals, and my dad wears a big crucifix that's been blessed. So that's how we prepare mentally, and I mean it does take its toll on us. We're drained for probably about a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, shit, yeah, for sure. I can imagine all that, and I'm glad to hear that you guys take care of yourselves, and protect yourselves. That's always a good thing. Um, what do you have coming up as far as investigations?
Uh, we've got uh location that we're doing here. Another location we're doing here in Missouri that's got a lot of history with Jesse James, the Battle of Crooked River. Um, and then we've got 3 other residential cases we've got to do, and then we've got to do a home cleansing on another one. And then we are getting ready in September to go to Border Town. Paracon is where we're going to be at September 27th, and October 4th we'll be at the Rock Island Roadhouse Expo, and then October 11th we'll be at ErieCon at Ashmore Estates, and then the 16th and 17th of October we'll be at Marshall Cinema helping out with the haunted house this year again.
Cool, man. Sounds like you're staying busy.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
we do.
yeah,
We stay quite a bit, and then we're going to see family back east.
that's good. That's good, man. Um, so towards the end of the show, I like to start asking these fun kind of questions, and
Sure.
one of them is like, what would you say to someone who's had an experience but they're too afraid to talk about it?
Uh, don't be afraid to talk about it. Call like one of us. We're not gonna judge you or anything like that. We won't think you're crazy. We'll listen to your story, and we'll see how we can help you, and try to see if it is paranormal or it could be another rational explanation in a home that can be debunked or explained.
And for someone who's like starting out, you know, would you what kind of equipment would you suggest they get, or should they even get equipment?
A lot of the equipment's overrated. Everybody relies on the equipment. Your best equipment is your senses. I started off with a little digital recorder, little digital camera. That's what I started my research with. And taking notes, bring a notepad and a pen. Write down your experiences, especially if you're with a team, then you can compare notes later and see if they experienced the same thing you did in that same location. I like that holy water, garlic, wooden stakes.
Yeah, I like that too. That was a good one. Yeah. Um, let's
But
see.
starting out too, go with a team that's experienced, learn. Don't jump in it head over heels because if you're gonna thrill seek at an event or something like that. Don't do that in somebody's house. I mean, they're inviting you in their home. Don't even charge them money. Don't ask them for food, nothing. You're there to help them. They're inviting you in, they're trusting you. So start with a team that's experienced that'll give you that knowledge and teach you. Starting a team on your own is a lot harder work because it takes years to get credibility built up to make sure you're a legit team. I mean, it's not easy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And if you want to, why don't you give out some of your social medias or contact information where people can find you and look for you? Are you on TikTok? I don't know if
Yep,
you're on
I'm on
TikTok.
TikTok as well. TikTok, it's BLPRMO on TikTok. We are on Instagram at Beyond Life Paranormal Research. We're on Facebook, Beyond Life Paranormal Research Missouri. YouTube, Beyond Life Paranormal Research. The Missouri edition. W- I have a personal page on Instagram as well at BLPRMO. You can find us on Google. If you're searching paranormal investigators from Missouri, just type that in on Google. We're the first group that pops up on Google. And you can find me on my podcast every Saturday night at 8 o'clock on my Facebook page and my YouTube channel. I do a paranormal podcast. I also do cryptids, monsters, UFOs. I have demonologists on there from time to time. We talk exorcisms and all kinds of stuff.
And what does your family and or people in your close little personal circle think about all this?
Uh, like my dad, he's a big supporter of it. He goes with me. My mom, she was a before she passed away, she was a supporter of it too. She loved They were proud of me for what I was doing, and then come to find out few years ago, we find out we're related to the Warrens, so it's been in my bloodline the whole time and with John Zaffis, and we're also related to Keith and Carl Johnson. So the axe murderer Lizzie Borden we're related to as well. I found that out.
Oh, that's pretty cool, man. That's in your bloodline for sure, man.
Related to even some famous actors, Vincent Price and Boris Karloff.
Oh damn, yeah, I love Vincent Price. He was so cool and so good. Yeah. Well, cool, man. Thanks a lot for doing this show. Like I said, I know it was last minute, but I do appreciate it. But one little fun question before we go: three fictional characters from any TV show, any movie. Pick three that if you had to go on a paranormal investigation, who would you go with?
I would Kane Hodder's one of them. He's one of my favorites. Another one would be R.A. Makoff. That was Leatherface. Uh,
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
and then my other one would be Danielle Harris. I think she'd be fun on a paranormal investigation.
And where was she from, or who, or what show?
Halloween. He played in
Oh,
Halloween. Jamie
okay,
Lloyd.
yeah. There you go. Shit, yeah. That's good. Okay. Well, cool, man. That's great. Three people, man. Great three people. Hard to beat that.
And
But
I got to meet two of them except for R.A. I haven't met him yet, but I've met Kane and Danielle Harris.
Marvin the Martian, the Galactic Family Podcast. That's one of them, I guess. And then Barbara says Vincent Price for me.
There you
That's pretty
go.
good. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
too bad he wasn't still alive. Yeah, I think he'd be fun too on an investigation.
well, cool beans, man. We're coming to the end of the show, and my dinner is ready. I can smell it. It smells so good. Um, Barbara says, "Great question, Joe. Thank you very much, Barbara. I do appreciate you tuning in, and everyone else. You do a great job asking questions and your comments. I love that so much.
That's why
Um,
I love viewer interaction.
yeah, for sure. But before we go, Russell, anything you have going on you want me to share and promote?
Uh,
Tag me in it.
I've
I'll
got
be happy to promote it for you, share it for you, whatever.
yeah,
Or
the Rock
just send.
Island Paracon. That's going to
Okay.
be a big one in Rock Island, Illinois. If you want to get tickets to that, you need to get them fast because they're selling out. If you want to see the Devils on the Run tour, you need to get tickets for that because that's selling out pretty quick. I know they've got a few left, and my family would be glad to see everybody and educate you on the Warren's Occult Museum. So
Yeah,
they
for sure, for sure.
they
Yeah,
are
man.
they are bringing Annabelle. So anybody that wants,
Oh, really?
yep,
Okay,
Annabelle
good,
will be there.
good.
They're still, even though Dan Rivera passed away, which was a big loss to the paranormal community, they're carrying on with everything. They're still going to do their tours and everything they want. That's what Dan wanted. They're going to continue to honor that. So
Okay, man. Like I said, thanks a lot for doing the show. I do
oh, you're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
I know it was last minute, so I really appreciate it. And everyone else, I have a show on. It's not going to be on Monday. It's going to be on Sunday, as a matter of fact. I believe the guys are from the UK, and that's why we're doing it on Sunday instead of Monday. So you guys tune in on Sunday. It'll be at 6 p.m. Central. So yeah, tune in for that show. So there won't be a show Monday. It'll be Sunday. Then I've got two more shows, the 18th and the 25th, and then I think I still haven't quite made up my mind about the pre-recording and live. So well,
Guys,
I'll
I do
yeah,
mine live.
yeah, I'll figure that out by then. But I'm leaning more toward just doing pre-recordings because I want to get more into like investigate, like encounters and sightings and stuff like that. So but yeah,
There's a
everybody,
reach out to my buddy Carter Bouchard.
send me his info if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll send you his info.
Okay.
He'd be an interesting guest to have on for his. He's got more than 1,000 reports published for the state of
Oh
Missouri
wow. Okay.
on Bigfoot sightings, and he was a consultant on finding Bigfoot when they were out here at Missouri and Kansas.
Okay. Cool, man. Yeah. Yeah. Send me his info. I like to talk to him at least and see what he's got.
Oh yeah, he's got quite a bit. Now he's doing Dogman reports too.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's actually a lot of dogman sightings here in Texas. There's a lot, and there's area called the Hill Country, which is like between Austin and San Antonio. It's got a really, really rich history.
Yeah,
But
we're getting it here in Missouri quite a bit. The dog man sightings.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He says I like doing it live, more interaction with the audience, and I agree. I love the audience when they interact and they ask questions and they comment. I love that so much. But
My
yeah, we'll
show,
see what.
my show's gonna be good Saturday. I've got Bill from Empty Casket Paranormal on. We're gonna be talking about his Ouija board museum.
Yeah, man, I love that stuff too. Well, cool, man. Everyone, like I said, tune in Sunday. I'll be live Sunday at 6 p.m. Central. I hope you guys can tune in and check it out. Russell, thank you for doing the show.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
And don't go anywhere, Russell. Hang on. Everyone else, thanks a lot again. I do appreciate it. Y'all have a great night.
Have a good night, everyone.